All right, welcome back everyone. Another episode with the other gang. G'day everyone. And today it's going to be for you sellers out there. We're going to give you 5 tips, things that you could do to your property when you're preparing that could maximize your chance of securing a premium result. So let's get to it. So you have to remember as a seller, even before a buyer contacts an agent, the first thing they're going to see online is your photos of your property. Now, studies in the past have shown how humans' attention span is within a matter of seconds. So it's really crucial right now that you capture your buyer's engagement. And so when they're scrolling through looking at the property, they're going to stop and click through your house. Okay, so we're at tip number 1, which is painting. Look, everyone loves things that are new, fresh, and if you haven't sold it in a few years, it's probably a good idea to go around and give it a freshen up inside with some new paint. Now, very important to keep it something relatively neutral in color. Right now, what we're seeing with the modern colors and trends is your lighter grays, your lighter beiges for your walls and your ceilings. Now, if you have colored some of your walls or particular bedrooms in a bolder color, it's probably good that we suggest you bring it back to a neutral color, and that way you really actually draw the attention of the buyer to the space itself, rather than potentially them thinking, oh, I'm gonna have to paint this wall as soon as I move in because it won't suit a particular furniture or decor. So that's tip number 1 is to, think about your painting depending on your budget and whether it is you're doing the whole internal of the property or maybe just a few select rooms.
So tip number 2, the outdoor space. A buyer will be judging a home the minute they step out of the car. So it's very important we leave them with a good first impression. So there are a few quick and easy must-dos that we think will make such an impact to the outdoor space. Number 1 is having a look at what the state of your driveway is. So whether that is just a matter of giving it a fresh clean with a high pressure hose, a gurney or a Karcher, one of those usually does a trick. And while you have that out as well, see if the windows need a bit of a spray, the eaves under the roof, they're all things that you can easily get up to. Sometimes if the roof does need a bit of a clean, if it's sort of got a lot of dust build up over the years, it's also good to get that clean, but obviously that would require you getting on the roof. So maybe you might want to leave that to a professional. Another thing with the gardens, so landscaping. Basic landscaping is such a huge part of I guess that first impression when they first come to your house. So nothing crazy, but certainly a fresh sort of coat of mulch in the gardens, all the garden beds. If there's any sort of dead leaves and branches, that always is good to get that removed. And obviously a fresh mow on the grass can't hurt either. So depending on the facade of the front of the house, whether it's an older style brick or a brick that's been rendered, it's always good to give that a good spray, good clean. Sometimes the dust build up and that'll have it looking really schmick.
All right, we're at number 3, which is flooring. Now, very similar to your painting, it will make a world of difference on the way it will look online, but also how it feels in person as well. Now, with flooring, you have to really assess depending if you have old timber flooring or carpets, whether you can just do a quick steam clean and it'll get rid of potential stains, or if it's beyond repair, and it's probably best to just chuck it out and put some new flooring down. You have some great affordable options out there. Not just talking about carpet, bamboo flooring, we see a lot of people doing that just because it's durable, has that timber look, and it's still quite affordable, but also your thicker vinyl products. Once again, easy on the foot when you're walking, feels nice, got the timber look, and also another affordable option. We've personally transformed our house upstairs, so we ripped out the old carpets and put some bamboo flooring, and it has been very easy to look after and contrasts quite nicely with the sort of lighter coloured walls that we painted. So number 3 is, check out on your flooring and see what kind of condition they are, and if they need replacing, it'd probably be a good idea to throw it out and put some new flooring down.
Tip number 4, decluttering. I'm sure you've all heard of that word before, and it certainly does get thrown around a bit when people go to sell, because it can take a bit of time to do it. It is a bit of a process depending on how much things have accumulated over the years, but we think it's a must-do, because at the end of the day, when people walk inside, we want to create as much of an open space and open feeling as possible. And if it does get a bit overcrowded, whether it's furniture, whether it's bookcases, depending on what it is, what it may be, we certainly don't want the spaces feeling any smaller. So depending on the items that you have, whether it's a sentimental thing where you do need to sift through, or things that you can just throw out straight away, whether it's in a skip bin. Sometimes it's just a matter of putting it into storage. You know, renting a space, or if you've got a massive garage, certainly you can store some things in there. So at the end of the day, we want to create as much space as possible so people can really get a sense of the size of the house and the feeling that it creates. So if you have accumulated quite a bit of things over the years, and whether you want to keep them, whether that's in a storage where you can rent out a space at a friend's place, or your kids or your parents' place, or if you've got a big garage that you can store some things in. We get a lot of clients asking us, oh, should we put things in the garage because don't the buyers want to see? But we feel that every garage is going to be pretty similar. It's there to store your cars. So if you do have a few of those extra things, certainly putting in there isn't going to hurt. If there are things that you want to get rid of, a skip bin, or if you want to sell, Gumtree, Marketplace, Facebook Marketplace, they're going to be your best friends. It's very easy to put some ads up and get things sold that way as well in this kind of climate.
Okay, if you've lasted this long, we're at number 5 now, which is your maintenance and potential upgrades. Now, the key of doing both of these is really, you want to buy to see that the property's been looked after. I mean, I'm sure if you're selling a second-hand car, or if you've seen to buy a second-hand car out there, but the ones that tend to be looked after, it's always clean, no paint scratches or dents or things like that, will always sell better and for more value. Similar thing with real estate. Now, what we suggest to do in this scenario is start off with the outside, do a bit of a exterior walk around, just things that you notice that stand out, whether it's broken or cracked downpipes, potential gutters that need a bit of replacing here and there, a few nuts and bolts of certain places, if fencing, if there's palings that need to be refixed in. Look, just go in there, fix it and secure it. This may mean you need to do a couple of trips down to Bunnings, but at the end of the day, who doesn't love a good Bunnings raid anyway? When you do get inside the property, watch out for things like light bulbs, blown light bulbs. Definitely replace all of them so they're all functioning at the end of the day. At the same time, if you are in an older house, or if you haven't sold in a few years, it might be worthwhile updating some of the light fittings. The rest of the little bits and pieces include putting WD-40 on creaky windows and doors, tightening of door hinges, tightening of bolts and tap fittings, making sure there's no leaks. Obviously at the end of the day, the bathrooms and kitchens are big sellers of the property, and if you're not in the realm of having the budget to renovate, if you need to, some simple things that you could do include just maybe changing the cabinet handles, and also including maybe towel handles, just to freshen it up and modernize it a little bit.
All right, everyone, so just to summarize quickly, Eddie's tip number 1, paint. Freshen things up, it's a great idea. Tip number 2, the outdoor space. So whether that's a bit of landscaping involved or simply bringing out the pressure washer and giving the whole house a clean. Tip number 3, flooring. So ripping up carpets or steam cleaning, whatever it may be. Tip number 4 was decluttering. So getting rid of some old stuff, putting it in storage, whatever it is, opening the spaces up a bit more. And lastly, tip number 5 was maintenance and upgrades, just to show that the house has been looked after.
Okay, and there you go. 5 tips for sellers out there that are preparing their house's market. Look, all these will just help with your overall appeal of the property and hopefully attract the right buyer. Now, we've obviously helped a lot of clients throughout this process and have a lot of contacts on hand. So even if you're just after some contacts maybe, feel free to let us know and we can obviously hand them over and help you out. So this is actually the perfect time to engage an agent because throughout this process, if you still had questions on things, whether they're necessary or add value, we can help you out that process and answer those questions. I hope you've enjoyed this episode and see you next time.
Catch you then.